So many years ago, the Cibolo Center for Conservation had this idea of looking at the entire community as an ecosystem and making sure that all of the pieces of the ecosystem played together harmoniously, but also that it was well resourced, that it had the natural resources to make sure that its future was resilient. And so what sprung out of that was this idea of creating a model resilient city.
And when you think about what resiliency really means, it's the ability to preserve all the environmental stuff around us, protect it so that we have long-term sustainability. There's a lot of growth happening in not only Boerne, but Texas. Do we have enough energy resources, water resources, other natural resources to handle the growth that's coming? And can we plan for it and do all the right things so that we're mindful of the environment and protecting the environment?
The first thing that the Cibolo Center for Conservation did was work to influence the City of Boerne's master plan, which we did by providing a menu of options that were sustainable and enhanced the quality of life for citizens. Subsequent to that, the City of Boerne decided it would be a good idea to invite us to be on the Unified Development Code Committee.
The Unified Development Code, that's in place now, but that put in place some really important low-impact development features for our community. And more importantly, as we develop things going forward, it sets the exact right direction for how to protect the environment.
So then I met Dr. Michael Young from the Bureau of Economic Geology in the University of Texas, and I pitched to him what we were working on here in Boerne, and he had some awesome ideas.
And I define resiliency as a system that can kind of retain its original shape or function after a shock or after an event, right? And so, in other words, you have a really bad drought, and then when the rains come back and the water resources return, the community is able to continue functioning. Ben and I started talking about, okay, what could we do from an environmental resiliency standpoint? And at the same time, the state of Texas is now working on a program that's called the Internet of Water.
Yeah, you know, one of the things I'm most excited about that we worked with the academic community on is this Internet of Water concept. We got to leverage folks from Duke University, through our friends at University of Texas, our friends at Cibolo Nature Center, and we helped build out a model that starts to predict long-term with all the variables that play into water and human consumption, weather, population growth, all the things that might be going on, even water quality. Let's look at the multivariate system that comprises Boerne, and can we predict in the near future and long-term future what's going to happen with our water resources? I think it's a really cool tool that's been developed with our academic resources to use as a planning tool, not only for our community, but now that could be taken to other communities. That's one of the most exciting things I think we've done this past 2 years.
Where the Internet of Water comes in as a specific project would be to help raise awareness of the community members on where the water is coming from. What is the relationship between rainfall and supply of water? What's the relationship between how much water people irrigate their lawns versus what the demand is in their household? If we can provide the data, this will inform people.
Cibolo Center for Conservation has been very, very involved and instrumental in pulling all this together, not only from a perspective of conservation, but I've enjoyed having them as part of the whole picture as we look at Boerne and the entire community.